Folks, WooFDriver once again coming at you. We are live on the C&O Canal. I apologize for not being able to broadcast much. We're probably in the most desolate area of the trail. We thought we would be within range, and we're not. But here's the situation right now. It's going to be hard for you to see, but visualize this. I'll turn on the IR camera momentarily, but right now I'm going to explain the situation. To our right is the Potomac River. To our left is the C&O Canal. We are on the C&O Canal Trail, which straddles the river and the canal, and it's quite interesting. And if you could see this in broad daylight, it's absolutely majestic. We're straddling these two bodies of water, or at least areas. The canal is in some areas filled with water, in some areas not. But as we ride this, we're lit up by the moon, and the dogs are in full swing here. We're picking up on some animal scents, so if you, hopefully will the signal hold out long enough, you'll be able to see them pick up on their speed. And so far we've come across what we think was either a possum or a raccoon, definitely some deer, a wild set of owls, a wild pair of owls doing their mating calls. Truly incredible. Sounds like dogs or coyotes barking. Actually, we're hearing something right now above us. We are big. Do you want to pull the camera out? Okay, Rhett spotted something. I'm going to turn the IRs on and stop the talking here for a sec. Let me get it going here. So, hooking up some specialized equipment here, folks. So give me a sec. I apologize. I'm going to turn the camera around and see what we've got. Let me do that right now. If it's going to let me. And there we are. Now I'm going to spin the camera. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm going to take the microphone off. We're in auto. We're in 340. We're into a spin mode. Now, whoops. Please understand what we are doing here. This is pretty complex stuff, and because we're using IR cameras, which are military style equipment, night vision, aka also known as night vision, and IR lighting. IR lighting is light that's not really visible to the naked eye. You hear that? No. What did it sound like? We got something down at the river too. Okay, the camera's spinning. You're getting a limited view, unfortunately, because again, we're at nighttime, and this is just, we're doing this in a dog cart. So just try to imagine a little bit here. You can see glimpses of the dogs. Again, you're looking at the river now. We're coming around. That's an owl. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm going to give Rhett the iPad. Rhett, pull the iPad off. Let me show you how to. I'm going to try to show him. You're going to be able to type messages, and I'll respond to them appropriately and accordingly as much as I can. Let me show you. Okay, we're trying to. Give me 1 second here, folks. And right now, you can hopefully enjoy the view of what you're seeing. Okay, let me see. We got ducks going on. Okay, Rhett, as comments show up there, just read them to me. Okay. Yeah, what is that? We got a wild scenario going on here. We got ducks and what I believe are owls. Dogs are going crazy. Well, in fact, that's Chase. He's very vocal. So the dogs really want to take off. I'm holding them back a bit. Rhett, don't touch anything on the screen. Just okay. And the comments. Okay. Okay. Who am I? I am the WooFDriver, husky dog trainer, expert, and adventurer, for lack of a better term. We go all over the East Coast of the United States, exploring trails with my dogs in custom-made dog carts, or bikes that I've converted or had custom built for dogs to run my dogs at this point, but we can add other dogs in the future. I'm just trying to get a glimpse of where we're at. Okay, folks, so we're going to start right now. As comments come up, let me know, Rhett. If you want to ask any questions, you can just type them in on your Facebook feed in the comment area. We're going to try to monitor them the best we can. Understand we're out here and it's dark, and we're using specialized equipment as well as traditional or high-end bike lights to light our way. But this is true adventure. We're doing it for the dogs. That's my main concern. I'm a dog lover, and I try to give them as much variety of activities that I can to engage their instinct and try to get their wolf ways to come out and explore the way a wild dog or a wolf would explore in the wild. And that's how I train them, and that's how we live. So we're on, I'll give you a little background now. We're on the C&O Canal Trail, which is built in the early 1800s, and it was built as a way of transportation. Railroad wasn't here yet. This is in Maryland and Virginia, and actually starts in D.C. It's 185 miles long. We've done this whole trail, not at one time. We usually do anywhere from 10 to 25 miles at a clip, depending on the time of year and the weather. Okay, we're getting to an area here. Not as we're not. We know this trail, but again, it's so big and we've run it a lot. But there's still so much to see and so many surprises. It's as different times a year. Of course, it takes on a different look. And there's a lot of artifacts and remnants from the Civil War era and from when this was a functioning canal. Now it's not functioning, the canal part, but there's old lock houses and what you might call creepy areas, especially at night. Okay, we're going under, and hopefully you can see this on the camera. When you're, what's that?
When I'm holding the iPad,
Okay. Do your best. Okay. Rhett's trying to, Rhett, pay attention here first. Let's move. Okay. Am I going straight or to the left? We're trying to.
Oh, you're just going
Straight. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay.
shadow,
Yep. Yeah, sometimes it's a little hard to see where we're going. And it's one of the reasons I have a co-pilot with me. But we're crossing under a large bridge here. We're getting into more of a town here. I believe this might be Sharpsburg. Yeah, we're going through or paralleling next to one of the old locks. And again, you got to remember, this was built in the early, like the 1800, like Chris B, our support vehicle, and support director, Chris P. What's that? Okay, well, we probably got more in us than that, so we'll keep going. Okay, did you see us on the feed? We're live now. Okay, we're live now, and we're going to keep going.
Is there any way you can dim this?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I can't see when I'm
Here,
trying to read
give it to me.
I can't see anything.
Sorry, folks, we're pioneering this as we go. So, okay,
You should have seen the cave we went into.
okay. Let me make sure we're still live here, folks. Sounds good. Okay, WooFDriver was live. I don't know if I'm live now. Hold that, Rhett.
You got two real quick and then nothing.
Let me see. We're trying. We're live here. You're just not. I got 40 viewers right now. 40 people are watching. Okay, it's just not picking it up on there. Okay, folks, I'm sorry. I'm back with you. We Rhett, just watch me. Don't even worry about that. It's gonna be hard till we perfect the technology here of being able to ask questions and type them in as we go. I was trying to put Rhett with another device, an iPad in the back, but it doesn't seem to be coming up live. In any case, we're resuming our journey. Rhett, you ready? You can put that away. Yep, just pay attention to where I'm going. So the situation we're in now, we just ran into our support vehicle. Understand, we're into our 13th or 14th mile right now. Rhett, watch me around this tree. And Chris, who again is our support vehicle, and yep. So we get the situations. Again, in some areas the trail is just pretty rough. It's still definitely passable, but you've always got to be on the lookout. On the right and left side, again, the left's the canal, the right's the river, almost throughout the whole trail. So in some areas it can be a little precarious because the trail narrows some. It's always wide enough for myself, the vehicle I should say, and the dogs, but it gets a little tight. You might be able to hear the train in the background as we're more in the city limits, a small town we're coming through. Tonight we were able to go through a cave we found. A lot of this goes through pretty rugged terrain, some mountainous types regions, and we found there's a lot of caves back there, and we've explored some of them. Tonight we actually found a new one we've never seen. So we went through that cave. Red actually went back in there. I stayed with the wolf pack. We've actually taken some of the wolf pack with us through the caves on different adventures. And right now, where you might be able to see this as the camera turns, we're going to be, that's a train coming right across the bridge. This is so cool, but it's going to come around. There's a train on the bridge as we're getting ready to go under. And you notice the dogs don't get spooked by it because I've exposed them so much to this, and they're used to running a lot of trails which are exposed to trains and to even highways. So you might lose my voice a little bit, but we are getting ready to go under the railroad, and hopefully you can see this. It's pretty spectacular. Actually, I've never been on this part of the trail under this railroad when it's been working. So I'm going to enjoy this for a sec. Dogs are all perked up. They actually seem to run better at night than during the day. I don't know what the lure is. They can see at night. They have some IR capabilities. Dogs do. Oh. Good. Yep. Okay. We are right under. The train just went by. We're under the bridge. It's a pretty tall, unusual bridge as well. So I hope you could catch a glimpse of that on the camera. So a couple people, unfortunately right now I can't answer questions, but I'm going to go back to what some people had asked previously. I am the WooFDriver. I'm running 4 Huskies. One has a little bit of Malamute in him. There's 3 white Huskies, and the more traditional looking Husky has Malamute in him. His name is Zorro. I'm in the front driving, and Zorro's on my right. He's the dark dog. Chase is on my left, and behind Zorro is Princess, the only female of what I call the wolf pack. And Princess is about 12 years old. The rest of the dogs are about 6. So next to Princess, on the other side of the bike behind Chase, is Jag. And Jag's the smallest of the wolf pack. He actually weighs in at 46 pounds. Pretty small for the breed, actually, but very stout, like your traditional Husky. Chase, on the other hand, is, again, on the left of me in the front. He's pretty tall for the breed and pretty lanky. He's got more of a wolf-like appearance with lanky legs, and he lopes like a wolf. And Zorro has more of a Malamute appearance because of his stature and look. So that is a quick description. What I do with my dogs, I was mentioning earlier, is I've been a husky lover for about 20, just about 22 years now. I've had huskies before these, and when I got my first huskies, I realized, my first single husky I had, that they got to do something because they got a lot of energy. I knew nothing about the breed, just that I liked the looks of it, and that's why I got my first husky. Then I realized, hey, they need an energy outlet. Or my one dog, first dog, his name was Czar, C-Z-A-R. So I started exploring ways, there was no internet back then, that I could try to engage their energy. And that's when I discovered running them on a bike. Now, I'm talking a more traditional bike, and putting an attachment on there that I could safely let him run, and I could keep a decent pace with him because I was on a bike moving faster than I could run. And I learned that doing a mile, Czar was happy. He was a well-behaved dog after that, tired out. So, of course, the distance grew as his endurance and conditioning grew. I've got Czar a partner in crime. His name was Hudson. And together we started doing a little more traditional of what you would call mushing. I started getting them to pool because biking was good, but it took a lot of miles to wear them out. So I figured, hey, maybe I could get them to do something that sled dogs do and teach them to pool. And it was very easy because it's in their blood. And I taught them to mush, basically. I used something called a C&O cart, which is a product that was out of Norway, and that's what they use to train lead sled dogs. And the reason being because you can teach them commands, because it has brakes on it, and you can turn the dogs to the right or to the left, so you can teach them the basic commands for sled dogs. And I've just taken a stop here because Princess, again, she's on the back rear, and she looks like actually, not really a bathroom break, she just wants a marking area. Come on, guys! So that happens a fair amount. And again, I'm doing this for the dogs, so I'm going to move at the pace they want to move. And if they want to stop and sniff an area, and it seems to be a safe place to do it, we will do it. So that's how I got started with Czar and Hudson, and then eventually more dogs and more dogs, and that's how it started. But it evolved a little bit into this custom-made bike that you see me on now, which is where the dogs aren't out in front. The C&O cart, they're out in front, and there's no power but dog power. So there's a deck that you can stand on the back and kind of push along with your feet, like kick, like a traditional musher would do, but there's no other way to power it except for the dogs and you kicking. So we evolved, for lack of a better term, and what you're seeing me on now is the culmination of many years and lots of training, and lots of discovery, and lots of working with the dogs. And this is basically predicated on a recumbent bike, this design. And right now we're in a quad recumbent bike, which means there's 4 wheels. This is 2-passenger. Of course, there's 1-passenger and other configurations. I have a 1-passenger, and I've got a few 2-passenger ones. Different builds for different trail conditions and different riding. But the one we're on now is for 4 dogs, and it's kind of a utilitarian vehicle, this one. So it converts, and take a breather for a sec. What it does is it converts. So the rack where you see Rhett sit in the second passenger comes apart, and that could be used for a cargo rack. And the reason behind that was because I do work the dogs all year long, and when I say work them, they can pull on this vehicle and all these bikes I've designed, or they can just trot alongside of them, depending on what they like. And when we work in the warmer months, what we do is I have developed a misting system. And the misting system gives me the ability to spray them down as we run and when we stop even. I can hose them down manually from a cooler, that's carried on the cargo rack to actual misting nozzles that are placed strategically around the bike to spray them constantly throughout the run. So there's different configurations we do for different times of the year, and it enables us to get out all times of the year and to safely run. And again, you can read a lot about this throughout my websites. There's a lot to say that's hard for me to explain it all right here. But additionally, there's other activities we do, as well as running off leash. They're trained to be off leash. The first thing most people will tell you with a husky is never have them off leash, and that's true unless you have some sort of training regiment similar to what I've done, and that would give you the ability to what I call free range them. But the problem with that is there's limited areas to do it. I've been fortunate enough to have some farm areas that we're able to go to and run off leash. These farms range anywhere from 50 acres to 500 acres. And finally, one other activity, and I'm just touching on this lightly so I can get back to our journey here. One other activity I do is based off of lure coursing. It's called the Amazing Chase. I've named it that. But lure coursing is something that greyhounds and sighthounds do because it's an object, it's a flag usually, or some sort of toy on a bunch of pulleys, and it goes through a course. It can move somewhere around 40 miles per hour, and the dogs chase it and engage them, and usually it's for the sight hound breed because it's optically appealing, and it's not, most dogs are scent driven, sighthounds are sight driven, so it's a little harder for other dogs to see. But I found that the huskies love it just as well, especially Sorrow and Princess, and they'll go for endless miles. The difference between greyhounds, sighthounds is the endurance. The huskies can go on pretty much forever. I mean, Zorro's clocked to like 17 miles chasing a flag over the course, whereas most other breeds that chase it'll do a loop or two and they'll be done for the day. So that's a quick synopsis. In any case, we're taking a break right now on the C&O Canal under moonlit sky. It's pretty clear out. Stars are good. Right now, we're clocked in at 4 hours and 20 minutes we've been out here for 13.51 miles. And the dogs are doing great. I know a lot of people will comment, well, isn't that too much for the dogs? Actually, this breed, if properly conditioned, can do over 100 miles a day. We don't enter those realms, but we have gone to 30 miles. We've done 30 miles before, but usually our standard runs are range from anywhere from 10 to 20 miles, and depending on the weather, conditions of the dogs, and what we can get in, what we can physically take. Sometimes it's a little hard for us depending on the conditions. Again, we've gone through rain, snow, cold, and anything you can imagine. If any of the dogs would get tired or couldn't do anymore, we would stop, or we would take precautions and take the appropriate actions for that dog. Princess is, because she's the oldest, and she has an awkward gait the way she runs. She's always had it. She tires herself out quicker, so I've worked with her a lot to maximize her experience. But if she tires out, she'll ride on the back with Rhett or myself, or if need be, we can always put her in the truck. But usually just taking a break re-energizes her, and she doesn't take kindly if she can't run. She wants to be with her wolf pack, and she wants to be doing what they're doing. She's very energetic. So, okay, we're just looking around here. Hopefully you're seeing this. Are you still seeing it on the phone, Rhett, just to make sure we're live? Cool. Can you read how many viewers we have, Rhett?
At the last check, it was around 50.
Okay. Don't touch it because... Okay.
It's around 40 right now.
Okay. So, okay, everybody. Well, we're gonna take off here. Come on, guys, hike. And that's just a basic sled dog command. Usually, a lot of people think, well, mush, mush. It's really usually to get them going. We say hike, but that's all. That's all just candy there, food for thought. So, I do have a motor. You might hear it. I'm going to engage it a little there, right there. And depending on the terrain we come upon or what the dogs want to do, sometimes I'll engage the motor to keep us going. It's really nice to use the motor when we get to a situation where there's a lot of distractions, especially other dogs in the vicinity that my dogs would be interested in. I usually want to get them out of there because we don't want to mix it up with other dogs on the trail. We're working and they're doing their thing. So just hitting a little bit of throttle will get the dogs going in the right direction and get their mind off of that, off of the distraction, and keep them running. So this is so cool where we're at. The trail is just a little wider right here than the dog cart itself. And actually, this trail in most areas is a crush and run material. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's kind of a crushed stone mixed in with dirt. Some areas will get patches of grass through the center, almost like vehicles that ride on here. But Princess prefers to run on the grass, so when I can find a nice grassy shoulder, I'll move it over to the side for her, because, reason being, the grass holds more sense, so that engages her and excites her more. The other dogs don't seem to care as much. She's a little picky. That's why she's the princess. So, if you get a glimpse of her, again, she's in the back behind the dark dog. And I didn't introduce him properly, but Rhett is behind me. He is my co-pilot. And he's making this all possible, too, because the situations, what we're doing here requires two people out here on the trail with me. I mean, myself and somebody else. And especially with the dogs and the situations that arise with other challenges on the trail. We'll run into trees down, branches along the way, things you wouldn't maybe think would be there, we run into. Well, yeah, coyotes. We've seen a pack of coyotes up at the Erie Canal, and pretty wild situations. But it's all about the adventure, and the dogs just love it. The wilder, the more they're engaged. And, of course, when they pick up on an animal scent, if they do hear, now you'll see, I look for their noses to come up in the air or hit the ground. Usually that means they're picking up on something, and we'll start to go fast. My job here as the WooFDriver is to balance their speed so they don't burn themselves out by engaging too much, as well as make sure the pace remains fairly even for all the dogs. So we don't want to overwork one of the dogs that can't or doesn't want to run as fast. At the same time, I want to give the dog that wants to run fast the opportunity to engage as much energy as he wants to give, but a little braking goes a long way, because that'll slow down a little bit, but it'll let him pull a little harder, and it'll keep the pace more evenly spread amongst the slower dogs, or the ones that don't want to engage as much. So it's and it changes who's perked up, who wants to run fast, and who wants to chill, or who wants to sniff in one particular area because they like the scent where they're at. Okay. Okay, and right now, hey Rhett, let's give him a little water. So right now we're going to stop, and we're taking our time here because we've clocked some decent mileage, and we want to show you, the viewers, more of the trail. So we're taking another break here, and Rhett's actually going to give him some water. And temperatures here, I'm going to say, are in the high 40s, low 50s, which is a little chilly for us. I mean, we've gone out in sub-zero temperatures. But because of spring, it is spring now, as some of the temperatures, we've flirted with summer-like temperatures. So we're dressing a little lighter, but the dogs are still have their winter coat on, so it's still a little warm for them. A little chilly for us right now because of the lighter dress that we have on, the lighter clothes. But usually when we're out here in especially sub-zero temperatures, we're wearing big suits and we look like puffballs. So I hope you're enjoying the view. I'm going to watch the camera as it goes by. Camera right now is going across the empty back seat because Rhett's out of the vehicle, and it's going back towards Jag. He's getting water right now from Rhett, and then it's coming across to Chase. And coming across to me. Thumbs up. Everything's great. And coming through to Zorro now. So you can imagine what the view you're seeing is actually more of a view than we have right now because we are not wearing our night vision goggles. We're just using strictly bike lights or headlights for ourselves. And so you're getting a better view than we are. But sometimes, depending on the situation, we will use night vision goggles, or we have some heavy bike lights, but to have them on now might actually take away from the view you're getting. So we're refraining from that. And as it comes to the back, it was just panning by that tree, the last dog you're going to see is, before it goes around again, is the princess. And oh, sorry, it doesn't do quite a 360-degree turn because we have wires hooked up to it and it'll create a problem. But you'll see Princess as it goes back around the other way. Cool. Once again, if you just... Yes, that's fine. If you're just tuning in now, you're live with the WooFDriver, the Wolf Pack, and Rhett, who is my co-pilot. We're out here on the C&O Canal for some midnight mushing, and this is true adventure. Never know what we're going to run into the trail. Usually nocturnal animals, and we're in an area that's very historic from the 1800s, early 1800s, actually maybe even the late 1700s. So certainly through the Civil War eras, and could be ghosts, spirits, anything else, paranormal activity along this trail, especially in the nighttime hours. Okay, all good? Okay, so hike, come on guys. I'm going to start it back up, and we're going to cruise along here. We are loving life. It's a great view, great night, clear out, moon shining on the trail, and the wolf pack, dogs are loving life. Yeah, there is a bonfire. It looks like it's on the river. Across the Potomac River, where we're looking at a fire or something, you know, there's campfires all along here, people camping out, especially this time of year. But across the Potomac is Virginia. The Potomac, at least throughout the C&O Canal, I believe, the C&O Canal Trail, divides Maryland and Virginia. And the trail is actually on the Maryland side. I think it's strictly in Maryland. I think actually it goes through some of Virginia too. and it goes right into Washington, D.C. That's the start of it. What is that? A ball? Looked like a skull a little bit, so. Not to get anyone freaked. Yeah, we hear some pretty unusual noises and see some pretty unusual things along the trail at night, and most of them we can identify, or at least we think we can, and some of them we just don't know. When we look for wildlife, you can right away, because the iridescence of most animals' eyes at night, you'll see glow, so we know there's something there. The only thing we'll get them mixed up with sometimes are reflectors from a distance, because our lights will pick up reflectors, or they'll pick up the iridescence of an animal's eyes. Usually when the dogs pick up on a scent, they're starting to pick up a little bit here. We start looking more carefully to see if there is something in the distance or on our sides. But tonight we heard some really incredible, a pair of owls that was just louder than I've ever heard owls. And they were either big owls, or there was more than two, or they were right above us. We couldn't tell, but it was pretty awesome. We also, and we do have IR cameras with us. It's really hard. We've been doing this for a while, but to get the timing right, by the way, we just crossed the 14-mile marker, to get the timing right and to be quick enough and get your lights set up quick enough, because you have to shine an IR light in the direction you want to take the picture of where you're trying to catch an animal or something you're trying to photo at night. It's pretty, there's an art to it. And we're pretty good at it, but it's hard to capture everything. So you can check out WooFDriver.com and see some of the sights we've seen at night along the way. I know when we were up further north was really a little bit eerie, because we actually saw some porcupines right on the trail, and you don't see this sometimes until you're pretty close on it. We knew something was there because of the way the dogs were reacting, but Rhett's like, porcupine, porcupine, go, 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 because we certainly didn't want to run into those. We've also, during the day, we've seen bear and numerous other animals. At night, we came across once. You can check, I believe, the Werewolf's website and see what we think was a big cat. We're not sure. It's mysterious, but it was some sort of cat, and it was at night, and it was pretty wild, to say the least. Now, to the right of me is a really good shot of the Potomac with the moon hitting off of it, and it's a real wide area. Originally, we thought we were going to be going to Harper's Ferry tonight, but I don't think we're close enough to make it there tonight. Oh, yeah. No, we're going. Yep. Yep, we are still going, folks. We've got a long stream going on here. I hope you're enjoying it. And I wish I could answer some questions, but unfortunately, I just don't have it right now, the technology. But we'll try to have that working for you next time. This is, I guess we're somewhere around the 12:30 point at night. Can't check my clock right now, but we started about almost 5 hours ago, so somewhere around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we're loving life. Just moving along at a real moderate pace right now, and the dogs always dictate the pace we go. The only times that I would change the pace or encourage them to go faster or slower is if we were encountering something we need to get away from quicker, or when I need to slow them down to balance their pace so each dog is engaged properly. or moving at his or her own pace. And again, this vehicle is designed, if they want to pull, they can. If they want to just trot along with us, they can do that as well. If we do, along this trail, there's a lot of lock houses and, again, remnants from structures from the early 1800s. And once in a while, when we come to an area we sometimes will get off and explore them, especially Rhett. So, you can check in our videos on YouTube. We've done that. Pretty cool stuff. We've done that on other trails, too. We've got a haunted house video out there, I remember, from a trail up in New Jersey called the Columbia Trail. Came across a really creepy house. And Rhett went in there and he took the IR camera and he did some exploring. Looks like we're still going. And also on the trail, we encounter a lot of farm areas, a lot of farmlands border the trails. Not so much farm animals, usually just croplands. There's a couple of spots I can recall where there are some cows, but few and far between. This looks, what caught my attention was the area to our left now looks like a farm, or at least some farmland. I think we're scoped tonight to go another mile or so. This trail is 185 miles long, so we go as long as we wanted to, but I think 16 miles will be good for tonight. We got the dogs a little bit picking up on a pace. Since I've been broadcasting, we haven't had too many scents that we've caught. Again, it's a little more city-like where we are, so probably less wild animals around here, so not going to come across many scents. When I couldn't broadcast, when we were out of range, that was a really remote area and a lot more animal scents, so they were picking up on scents a lot more. But we are picking up a little bit of speed here, so we're moving along pretty good. Now Zardo's got his nose down in chase. I thought something was in the trail. It's a reflection of the tree. The moon is shining behind the tree. Passing mile marker 71, in case you want to look that up on Google Maps or anything. You can get a bird's eye view as a satellite view to see where we're at, how we're doing, or I guess to get a better lay of the land, to understand this trail. Now, I thought I heard something in the distance. If you hear that a little bit, kicking a little motor in. The technology on these bikes are truly incredible. We're using lithium batteries and 1,000-watt motor, which is pulling sometimes 2 people, 4 dogs, and other accessories we have on, and it's pretty incredible. When I say pulling 4 dogs, I mean it's taking the stress of 4 dogs pulling, sometimes in different directions, sometimes to the side a bit, straight ahead, whatever, and it's pretty remarkable. And remember, all these parts on here are all bike braid parts. So trying to make all these parts function together and be strong enough to handle what we do is pretty remarkable in itself. And I'm always, I don't know if you can see me, but I'm always looking to my right, to my left, just to kind of keep an eye on the dogs. Red's doing that as well. Make sure they're running properly or moving good, uninhibited, and as well as just checking conditions around me all the time. These we're rolling right now past some homes, and always careful of that in case people have dogs. And we've had it before where the dog just comes out to say hi or tell you it's his land, and we always have to be ready for that scenario, which we are. Come on, guys. Sometimes I'll give him a command. Did someone just cross in front of us up here? No, I can't tell. Actually, you might be able to see it better. High school, college age. And we saw people camping. There's campfires going, and tents were set up. I'm sure if they saw us pass by, they were like, what the heck was that? 2 guys, 4 dogs, and just cruising along on some UFO, unidentified flying object, for lack of a better term. So this trail spans a lot of miles, as I said, and goes through many towns and even gets to Washington, D.C. So the views are very varied along the way, and you can really see some spectacular sights. Definitely feel temperature dropping as the night rolls on. Still got that feel of winter in the air for us. I hope you're getting to enjoy this as much as we are, and can get enough in the view. Again, what you're looking through is night vision. What's that?
Just feeling the temperature.
Cool. You're looking through basically a night vision goggle setup that is allowing us to broadcast live on Facebook. And it's pretty remarkable. We have IR lights helping the night vision setup, because without the IR lights it still needs some light. And again, IR lights are not really visible to the human eye. If you look at them, you might be able to see a faint hue of red. But the IR lights, because the night vision or the camera's IR, light up the whole area. So night vision or the camera, whatever you're looking through, can see really well. And these are same instrumentation that the military wears. In fact, if you're familiar with this equipment, a lot of it is pretty well guarded in the United States. They don't want to, and it's actually illegal to sell outside of the U.S. borders. I don't sell it, but for these companies that do, it's pretty highly monitored and protected. Passing a really cool tree now. I mean, this thing's massive. What kind of tree is that, Rhett?
It's like poplar.
Really? Oh, it's just a poplar tree, but I don't know. With that many stems? Yeah, but look at all the branches coming out from it. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Looks maybe a little more massive because the ivy growing on it. Houses are pretty dark because it's kind of late now. and we're at a part of the trail that I was mentioning where there's grass in between and on each side with tire tracks that are probably from the park ranger riding up and down here, and maintenance vehicles that look to be crush and run. And again, this is another reason for having a motor, because the resistance from the grass, even though the trail is fairly level, is the resistance is pretty heavy, so the dogs would not be able to pull through this. So I'm running the motor at a real light speed just to get us through. And across the river we can see a couple of houses in the distance. Look like they're perched on some cliffs. Look pretty magnificent. The trees don't have any foliage on them yet, so okay, they don't have any foliage on them, so you can see the moon pretty clearly. Ooh, we got owls, folks. Oh, right here. Did you see it? Dude, it just flew right. It's right here. It's right there. You got the camera? Okay, folks. Oh, no, he's right there. Okay. So we've got owls, at least one owl. We've got the IR camera. He's going to put the IR lights on. We're going to see if we can capture him. I can't really direct the camera up there. I'm going to pull up, or you're going to know if it's a horned owl or... Yep. He's going to fly. He just flew. I think. Do you see? That's Rhett doing an owl call. I think he flew, dude. Did you get a picture? No? Okay. Well, there are owls all over this trail tonight. The dogs are looking. Yeah, I think it took off, but I don't know.
They took off and then landed.
Well, no, I just saw.
You did see.
Yeah, I definitely saw fly that way. Yeah. Okay. Come on, guys. Yeah, we're really getting a dose of owls here tonight. So cool. And they actually, I don't know if you've ever heard an owl, but they actually sound like dogs. Woo, woo, woo. And I think the dogs are saying, is that a dog? Is that a coyote? Is that an owl? I'm certainly saying that. But that was really cool. And if you could see it at all, it was the moon was lighting it up from behind. They were backlit, the owls. And it was awesome. So at any time, you never know what's going to show up on this trail, especially in the dark of the night like we're traveling. And as we're going also, we're very unobtrusive, because even when using the motor, it's still very quiet. It's electric. And what's that? You just... Yeah, this must be a mating area. Well, if you need me to stop, tell me, Rhett. Okay. So, in addition to that, we're very low lit, because these IR lights, yeah, it's true, the animals can see at night, and they will see some of the IR, but nothing like if we had big bright lights on. So that's another reason to use the IR, to keep a low profile and possibly get a chance to get a view of some of Mother Nature's wonders. Real quick, a quick story how this midnight mushing all started out. When I used to run my other huskies, who are in doggy heaven now, Czar and Hudson, I used to, my job wouldn't allow me to run in the daylight because with daylight savings time in full effect and the colder temperatures when we would do most of our running, it was dark. So, by the time I got off of work, it was dark outside. So I had to find a way to be able to exercise the dogs, and the kind of exercise they need, I needed to find a trail to be on. So I needed to make it as safe as possible. I said, I'm going to go at night. I'm going to start running at night, which I did, and I couldn't see much. And I said, whoa, and I'm out there myself a lot. I was out there only myself.